Okay, folks, what this is a Gorilla cart. And the tires on it have gotten weather worn because somebody left it outside, namely me, for about 2 years. Well, I've got tired of flats and airing them up all the time, so I found one that doesn't have air in it. I've got this from Harbor Freight, and it says don't get flats. So I said, hey, that's a good idea. And it's solid and very heavy. We're going to replace this with this wheel here, and it says 220 pounds. I don't believe that. I believe it will go much greater than that, but that'd be 880 pounds, so that's plenty. I won't haul that much. So Darren is going to take over now and show you how to put them on.
Well, this is Dad's cart that we're going to change the tires. Now, so far, what I think we'll need is a pair of needle nose pliers. I got a pair of lineman pliers as well. If we need anything else, we'll edit so I say it right now and look really smart.
If he messes up too, we may cut away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love editing. This is neat.
Editing helps you do it right the first
Look,
time.
I did it right the first time, even though, it's night and I started at noon. All right.
Okay, we turn
How
it
long have you think you
down.
had this, Dad?
6 years.
I'm betting longer than that.
Well, that's my memory.
I'm betting longer.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say 5 or 6
What's it
years.
rated for, this Gorilla?
It says 1,000 pounds. Now I know the one we did for you is rated at 1,200 from Harbor Freight, and I wish I'd have got that one. But it wasn't available at the time I bought this. This was the best one around at the time.
Every bit of 10 years ago, if not more.
Okay.
All right. Well, these are really neat. The Gorilla brand, I guess they have their own cotter pins.
I bought some Carter pins, but I guess we're not going to need them. Now these wheels are 10-inch wheels. I think those are greater than that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it makes it lower to ground so that I don't have to lift as high. That's my excuse, and I'm going to stick with that. That sounds good.
And hey, we'll find out if that's going to be a negative.
It may be a negative, folks, so be aware of that. But
Right now, when he's trying this for the first time.
the problem I've run into is these things tend to get flats quite often, and they need air all the time. And I don't always have access to air hose to air them up. And I want to use it right then. I don't really want to wait. Now what he's doing, he's putting a washer on, and he's putting that, I guess you would call it a,
Cotter pin, they have a proper name, I just don't
it
know.
has a proper name. It's a cotter pin is what it's used for anyway. Cotter pin is different in that you twist it, and it's kind of take a pair of pliers to do it. That was more automatic.
This didn't even need tools. So that's kind of neat. That's a kind of a thing they thought of a little better than the other one. And we may have to put a spacer. I assume somebody's seen that, that has a little bit of slop in it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Would you trade this Gorilla for the one you bought from Harbor Freight?
No, I'm kind of liking the one from Harbor Freight right now. Of course, if you would have asked me before you bought it, I'd said, yeah, this one has to be better because it's done everything we've ever asked it. So I can't really badmouth it either.
Folks, everything we bought before was we'll bend or we'd break it. So I said, I wanted something at least to hold 1,000 pounds. And this will, and it is good. It's been good for, he says 12 years or 10 years. I'm sure he's mistaken.
Every bit of a decade, Dad. I know it.
But I have used it a lot.
And misused it and overloaded it.
Well, I know it had a flat 4 years ago.
All right.
Okay. The reason that one is white is it had the powder on it from shipping. It'll turn black here shortly.
The only thing we might end up doing is putting a couple spacer washers in there or something to get him a little taunt on the
Okay.
on the deal. But beyond that, for everything you're going to do with it, Dad, I think it's just as good, and it is a little lower. But time will tell, and if it gets wobbly, we'll put some
Once
spacer.
you take the sides off, show them how it works.
Alrighty.
It becomes a flatbed also. This is why I bought it. Very simply, those just pull off, or you can make it, leave them on there, but they lift off quite easily. You'll lift one off just to show them. Or it can fall off like that too. Okay, you do that one more time. I don't think it got it on. There we go. So it makes a flatbed, so if you load something like plywood, you put it on it. So I really like it. So I needed those tires on there to not worry about whether it was flat when I went out to use it.
Rather handle less weight, but be ready when you want it. I think it's a sacrifice. I think it's worth it. And Dad, you're not lifting up more than, you don't need to be messing with more than 800 pounds.
Well, I used to carry it with one arm, but I guess I better, since I got a little elderly, probably only lift it. You know, used to I could lift $200 worth of groceries and barely lift it at all, barely could get it up. Now I can't, I could lift $200 worth of groceries in one hand. Okay, you know, there seems to be a little low spot on this, on one of the tires. Do you see that? Has a little low spot, but it's only flat on the bottom.
Yeah, it's only flat on the bottom. I mean,
Folks, I go out and I want to lift stuff with this, and it has a flat. It always is low tires. So I got to thinking, how about go to Harbor Freight and see if we couldn't get these, which are, it says on the box, it says no flats. And you know, I like no flats. If I could come out and use this at any time without having a flat on it, I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's better than trying to lift it with two flat tires. I know for sure. Well, anyway, Darren's going to show you how to put them on if you've never done it. So if you want to do and make yours back and save a few $100s by just changing the tires, these were like $9.99. Darren right here, and he's going to demonstrate the difficulty of putting on these no flat tires.
all right, Pop. I can't really get why you had problems keeping air in it. I mean, you can see the inside of the tire. It looks like it looks fine inside.
Well, I've only had it, you know, like 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, this one's longer than the last one.
Oh, you're saying that it's more than 5?
I would
All
say
right.
it's been outside longer than a decade.
All right. So he's going to go with 10 years. I may have to bend and say that it is.
Oh, and I think I'm going like, the Price is Right under. I think, I didn't go over.
You may have,
I confidently think
it could be more years than that.
at least 10.
All right. Well, he's going to show you the difficulty of changing that.
All right, so she
It's
popped
pretty
right out.
simple.
And yeah, that couldn't have been called a tire for years. That was what a tire used to be.
Well, it was out in the fresh air.
It had plenty of fresh air. Now, like our other project, we may need to put some extra washers on this afterwards, so you don't have that wad.
Yeah,
And we're not going to be lifting this at its max capacity anymore anyway.
I think we'll probably end up putting a spacer in there just to
I'm
be
sure we will. I'm just kind of testing her out here.
Folks, we didn't even know or prepare for this. I just said, Darren, come over and let's put some wheels
Let's put some wheels on this. I think it'll work. Well, it'll work, and we'll work for 90% of what we do around the house. But yeah, we'll end up getting a spacer. It might be as easy as putting a piece of conduit and cutting it to fit.
Or cut a little piece of pipe that's that size, just something to
A
make
little
it.
half-inch piece of pipe would work.
Because if you notice, the old tires have that spacer in there automatically because of the rim, and the new tires don't have that.
Now, you could probably find tires for these, break the bead, put them on, but that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, I just like the no flat idea.
And it would just be another just another tire with a tube.
You know, in 10 or 12 years, it might go flat again.
Well, these won't, so we're betting that the steel will rust before.
I
these
would
tires
demonstrate
will.
it by driving a nail in it, but just take our word, it will not go flat.
Well, it's solid. It's a solid piece of rubber.
Okay, we're going to see if it'll roll around here in a
That's
minute.
probably going to be fine because, again, we're not going to really lift at its maximum weight ever again.
Very rarely do we lift buildings with it.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll literally just be able to move hosing.
All right. This will get us something that will be flat when I go out there, and it'll do the job I want to do without buying another cart. And those things can run over $100. I think more than that, actually.
You wouldn't think it.
But that one's pretty well built. Now, I bought that from Harbor Freight 3 years ago. No.
Yeah.
You believe that, right? Well, it's got a few bends and deals on it, but I
been
think we
loved.
got that fixed. Well, folks, if you ever want to know how to save buying a new one, put wheels on it, I think that'd be the best idea. And they're cheap at Harbor Freight, as I say, less
That's
than
a
$10.
$20 fix.